Alright guys, today we're going to be working on a 99 Kia Sportage. We're going to be going and replacing the shocks on the front and the rear. So let's go and get started. I'll tell you what you'll be needing to go and get it all changed and everything. For the lug nuts, 21, and then, you know, kick it until it falls off. Now, it looks like a 17 up here. I'll let you know when I grab the actual wrench. And then the 19 down here on this shock. So let me go and get some tools and we'll get to it. Alright, we have got it disconnected. It didn't want to come off, so we used the Sawzall on it. So we've now Sawzalled the top off because it wouldn't come off, it was just seized. So now we just have to take off the bottom, and we'll go and get that one off and get the new one on for the rear. Alright, so that bolt is out. It was two 17s. We're going to pull this out. Old one is out.
I didn't do
See how bad
it.
it was. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was bad. It doesn't come up at all. So we're going to throw that over there.
Do it.
Thank you, buddy, for helping. And now we're going to get the new shock in and on. Alright, now we're going to put the new shock in. Throw a bolt through it. Throw the washer on it. The nut.
Still at it.
Push this down because I took the thing off it. Alright. Excuse me. Thank you. Alright, now we're going to put it in the top. That is set. Excuse me.
Still at it.
Still on it? Perfect, thank you. You're the best helper.
I farts.
Nice. Good job.
And I farted then.
Oh, okay.
I'm still fading at it.
Good job. Alright. Heck yeah. Alright, if the camera was a little shaky or off, I was having my son do it for me. Thanks, buddy.
I can't press this and make it do it. Then make it do it. The make a picture. The picture.
Make a picture?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not making.
But yeah, so it's a 17. I'm now gonna tighten up this bolt right here, bolt and nut, and then I'll tighten up this nut, throw the wheel back on, tighten it up, and the rear will be finished, and we'll move on to the front. Alright, this is now tightened down. For this specific shock that we have, FCS Auto, it is a 14 to tighten down, and then we just use the original bolt that goes through here, the 17 and 17 nut. That's all tight. Now I'm going to throw the wheel on, move to the front. Alright, so now we're starting on the front. You're going to start with taking off the 521 lug nuts, 21 millimeter lug nuts. You're going to take off the wheel, set it down, use it as a seat. Let's take a look, see what we have here. Okay, for the driver's side, you're going to have to get a 12 millimeter, which I have right here, extension. You don't need the extension. I liked the extension, impact or ratchet. 12 mil nut right here, 12 mil nut right here, and a 12 mil bolt right there. And then you're gonna need a Phillips, so you can undo this right here, this clamp, and then we are going to disconnect the MAF and pull the air box out of the way, and then we can get to the 12 mil bolts that go to the shocks. Okay, now that the air box is pulled out of the way, you can now go and get out the 12 mil bolts that are right here. Now those are out. Now we can go down to the bottom and see what we need to do to get that out. You can just separate the spindle from the shock. You just take the bolts out here, 4 of them each side. They are 14s. It's a nut and a bolt. So undo it, take all 4 of them out, and then alright, so the camera died. Not sure how far we got the last time, but there's 4 bolts that come out. They're 14s here on the back side. There's 2 more bolts and nuts with washers right here. Bolt, nut, washer. This was sitting inside of it. Inside here, you just pull it out and it's out. We're gonna go and pull this off. It's a 24, the nut on the back of the shock. We're gonna pull that off. All right, so once you take this nut off right here, the half of it, once these 4 bolts are out, just slides right off. Perfect, makes life so much easier. Now we can go and maybe move this out of the way, and this can come back. There you are. My goodness, probably shouldn't drop you like that again, huh? All right, let's see. All right, so I just moved this out of the way some. Shock fell right down this way. Pulled it out, sitting right here. See, old shock right there, new shock right here. We're gonna pull off all these, the sticker on it, pull off the new nuts for it, and then we're gonna set it in its new home and see how that goes. All right, so I moved this out of the way. It just kind of slides right out of the way. I got that moved over, and then the weight of this pry bar that's kind of long is holding it up. So what I'm going to do is grab the new nuts for it, and then I'm going to throw them up top on it. There we go. All right, and last one here. All right, we're gonna kind of leave those not loose, but hand tight for now. And we're gonna go to the bottom and see about getting these back on. All right, not quite sure if I'll be able to do this with one hand. I'm gonna set you down right here. Hopefully you can see what I'm trying to accomplish. There we go. That there. Come on. There we go. This is for some reason not not straight, so we're going to have to loosen the top hat to make it turned. So it's in, but it's turned. Not sure if you can really see it. That where it bolts in is right here, and it needs to be over here on these, so there's about an inch difference. So what we're gonna do is loosen this up a little bit, and then or grab it with a big pair of pliers and try twisting the bottom so it can get lined up. Okay, so I loosened up the top, didn't do anything, but so what I did was I threw a bolt in to it, and then I used the pry bar, pried up on the shock some so I could throw the bolt through this one, and then pried on it a little bit more to line it up so I could get the bolt into the back. Got the bolt into the back, and then once that was on, or in there, I took this like this and then just kind of pulled up like that, which then straightened it out enough that I could then put a nut on this top one, and then I could then tighten it, and it went straight and worked out fine. So all that's left now is I have to tighten up the top ones. It's an airplane. All I have to do is tighten up the 3 on the top, and then after that, make sure, snug everything down, make sure everything is nice and tight. All right, for the top hat on the passenger side for doing the shock, it looks like you can get to all 3 of the bolts from the top without taking anything off. Okay, so with an extension and a 12 mil, you can get all 3 of those nuts off of the top hat. So now all we have to do is pull the spindle down and get the shock out, so that we can then go and get the shock out, throw the new one in. Also, don't forget to go and take this and push it out. Don't forget to take this and push it out of the shock so that it's not connected when you try to take it out. We will undo this 24 that's right here so that this will come off and make it much easier to get out. When you go to take this off, this 24, you'll have to put a 19 mil wrench on this side where the sway bar is, and then hold it while taking that one out. Okay, now that that is off, I held that. It's only flat, so it's flat on 2 sides of it, right there and right here. It rotates when you go and spin it, so don't go and just shove the wrench on thinking it's on. There's only one way it goes on. But we'll pull this off. There we go. Pull that off, and now the shock should be much easier to just pull out once I get it past this over here. Pull that out, pull this off of the shock, and it just comes out. We put the new one in. Old one out, sitting right here, scrap pile. And let's get the new one in. All right, so we set the new shock in area. We're gonna go and lift it and try to get this piece right here underneath here to hold it up, so I can then put the 3 nuts that it came with on the top hat, and then get the other piece on, and then turn it and get it into place. All right, so 3 bolts are now sitting in right there. The other one's hiding down there. All 3 are in, just hand tight. so I can still move the shock around. On this specific shock, it's a 13 mil for the top hat bolts instead of a 12 like the last one. So depending on what shocks you have in yours, they can be a 12 or 13. Now we have to get this lined up so that we can go and get it all together and working. So let's get to that. Okay, so it's hard to record and explain, hard to record and do the thing and explain everything that I'm doing at the same time. So I took 2 bolts, threw it in the back, and then I then took the pry bar, put it underneath it, and then pried on it to lift the spring up to then line up the holes, and then moved this bar back and forth until it was lined up with the holes, put the bolts through the hole, and then took the bolt that's over here, put this bolt in and through the shock, and then once that was in the shock, all I had to do was take this out from here, put it, twist it upside down like this, put it on to this little bracket right here that's on the shock, and spin and spin. See how it rotates? Spin the whole thing over like that so it would be straight, so that I could then go and get a nut onto that bolt. And that's how I got that all lined up. And now it's time to throw the last bolt in on this side and then tighten them all up and tighten up the bottom down here and tighten up the top hats, and it'll be ready to go. Throw a wheel on and give it a test drive. Okay, so all 4 of these bolts and nuts are now tight on each side. These two, they are 14 millimeters, so you'll need a 14 mil socket for this side, and you'll need a 14 mil wrench for this side to hold it while you tighten down this side. You just slide this in, you tighten up this 24, you take a 19 mil on this side, you slide it on to the two, onto the 2 flat sides right there, so then it can't go nowhere, and then tighten it up. That's nice and tight all the way around. Everything's tight. And now all we have to do is tighten up the top hat, and it is good to go. Alright guys, we have all the shocks done on it. It drives fantastic, so that is a job well done on this 99 Kia Sportage, changing the shocks out. They work amazing. If you guys liked this video, give it a like. If you didn't like it, tell me what you didn't like about it. If you haven't thought about subscribing, maybe give that a try if you want to see more content like this. And you guys have a good rest of your day.